Hello everyone, this is Neil from the Academy of Sports and this is Banded Body Conditioning. We'll start things off with a warm-up and we'll start with a quad stretch. So remember, keep your knees aligned together, back straight, and we'll do this in 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Remember here guys, if you do need help with the balance, you can use your spare hand to hold onto something, and just remember we'll switch sides now. So whatever side you're doing, switch to the next side. Remember, try and keep your chest up, back nice and straight, core engaged, trying to keep your legs as stable as possible. And that's that. We'll move on to the standing hamstring stretch. So remember, one foot slightly forward, the other leg slightly bent. And we'll start that in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Remember, standing foot forward, back leg slightly bent, and we can apply some pressure to that standing forward. You want to get a bigger stretch, get that toe towards the ceiling. And we'll switch sides in 2, 1, and remember to switch sides now. Shake it off if you feel it, and remember the same again. Try and keep that back nice and straight. Remember to hinge at your hip, so you don't want no extra curvage in the back. And from here, we'll move on to the back stretch. So remember, keep your hands in front of you, crossed over with your palms facing towards you. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Remember, palms facing towards, and we just want to push our hands as far away as possible. And you'll see that nice curve in the back. Don't worry, we just want to stretch it out as much as we can. Keep reaching out. And we'll move on to the pec stretch. Keeping that crossed over hands, we'll take it over to behind our back in 3, 2, and 1. And what we want to do is really open up the chest. Try and keep your neck neutral, chest pushing all the way out, and try and get that deep breathing in between your lungs. And brilliant. We'll move on to the front stretch. So one arm crossed over the other. So we'll start with one side in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So just remember here, keep your back nice and straight, core engaged. Don't want to be flimsy too much, and just push it gently towards your body and you'll feel that stretch. Remember to swap sides. And we'll finish in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. We'll move on to the overhead tricep stretch, and we'll do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Remember here guys, you want to keep your arm right on the back of your spine, and just use your fingers at the tip of your elbow to just push it gently towards your ears. So your biceps should go into your ears. Remember, we'll switch sides. We're holding all these stretches for just about 5 to 6 seconds, and we'll keep going from there. Brilliant. That was all our static stretches done, and we'll move on to a bit more dynamic movement. So we'll start raising that heart rate with squat to reach in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Remember here guys, we want to keep our knees about shoulder width apart, and we want to go down, squat down as low as we can go, and gradually build that squat. So it should get lower and lower, and remember, we're going to reach out to each side, and we want to aim for about 8 to 10 reps on each side. Really start loosening up those legs muscles and reaching out, helping out the sides of our back and our obliques. Really start getting our heart rate pumping a bit more. So we'll keep going. Keep going as well done. And we'll now move on to the torso rotation. So we'll just start going on one side, swapping legs and turning our hips to the left and right. And we'll go from there. Remember, whatever legs you're standing, foot that you go forward, you rotate to that side. Remember, keeping your back nice and straight, chest out in front of you, core engaged. And just when we get to the bottom of that lunge, we're just going to turn to each side. Again, trying to keep that tempo nice, not too slow, not too fast, but making sure that blood flow is now going through our muscles. Not many left. Last few. Well done. Right guys, I'll give you a 60-second break and we'll move into our first round. In these workouts, we're going to have 2 rounds. Each round consists of 5 exercises, which we will do back to back and we'll do each round twice. So round 1 will consist of banded press-ups, squat and press, tricep kickbacks, row into deadlifts, and banded bicep curls. Remember, we're doing this twice. So I'll give you the 30 seconds now to yourself. Okay guys, we'll start things off with a banded press up. So the band will go behind your back and we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Remember guys, we're doing each of these exercises for 10 reps. So yeah, as you can see, the band's behind me. Keep a nice straight posture, straight back, core engaged, and keeping your elbows by your sides. Try and get as low to the ground with your nose hovering and push back up. Brilliant. We'll move on to the banded squat and press. So we'll get the band under our feet and get our hands nice and in front of us, in front of our shoulders. And we'll go, again, 10 reps. So what we're trying to do is squat down, try and get down as low as possible with your knees hip width apart. Trying to get as far to a 90-degree bend as possible. When you get to the top, just remember, keeping that core engaged, chest up. We want to push all the way up to the ceiling until your arms lock out. We'll move into the banded tricep kickbacks. The key here really will be to keep the arm nice and parallel with your back. So as you can see, you want to keep that arm in line with your back, the top part of your arm nice and static, with the movement just coming from the lower extremities, from your elbow down. Remember, we're doing these for 10 reps as well. And we move on to the third exercise, which is the row to deadlift. So what we're trying to do, both bands underneath our feet, shoulders and legs hip width apart. We'll go down, pull, keeping our upper arm as close to our body as possible, hinging at the hip, and on the way up we really drive, really contracting our glutes on the way up. And we're here keeping the back nice and straight. And again, we're doing this for 10 reps. Really keep that core engaged throughout, and remember, hinging at the hip with no. And we move into the banded bicep curls. So standing on the band with our hands on each side, we want our knuckles kind of in that thumbs up position, and we're going to do those hammer curls. If you want to keep more tension, just get your legs further apart from the band, so you're reducing that kind of size of the band as you do your curls. Remember, keeping your arms, your upper arm right beside you, and really just moving from the elbow, bringing your hands towards your chest. And that's the first 5 of round 1. I'll give you a minute break, and then we'll move on to doing round 1 over again. Welcome back, guys, and we'll do round 2 with the banded press-ups. 3, 2, 1. Keeping with the form, as mentioned when we did the first time round. If you want to make this a bit more challenging, you can really slow down that movement, really control the tempo of these press-ups. Remember, we're going for reps and not time. So if you are taking a bit longer by slowing down the movement, do feel free to pause the video. And then we'll move on to the banded squat and press. Again, same again, you want to make it a bit more dynamic, speed it up, or to make it a bit more hard with the contractions, slow it down. So remember, get that arm over as close as you can to your shoulders. Try and keep your elbows as high up as possible and press. Really ensure you go as low down as you can in your squat and really try and engage your glutes on the way up. And remember, keeping from that press up, once you get upright with standing, you push through your shoulders and really lock out your hands. Now we move on to the banded tricep kickbacks. Same again. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Remember guys, here, same as the bicep, same as all the other movements. Really, you want to make it harder, really slow down the movement. The key here is really the contraction here. It's not about how fast you do it. It's really engaging your triceps here. Remember, it's 10 reps. Work at your own pace. If you need to pause the video, feel free to pause the video. And then we move into the row to deadlift. Remember, the key here with the row is really keeping your arms beside your sides. And we'll start in 2, 1, let's go. So I'll do it from a front angle here with your foot. Again, you want to make it harder. Step further and further away from the band to apply more tension to the band. On the way up, remember, when you go down, just keep your arms as close to the side of your body as possible when you're doing those rows to get that tension in your lower back. And again, squeeze through your glutes on the way up when you're doing the deadlifts. This is a longer movement, I know, because we're kind of doing 2 exercises in once, but really keep that contraction going. And we'll move on to the banded bicep curls. Similar to the tricep kickbacks, it's really important to keep your arms as close to your side of your body as possible. To make it harder, really slow down the tension. Remember, try and keep your core engaged, chest up, head up as well. I know it's quite easy to drop your chin down to your chest, but try and keep it as upright as possible. Remembering to breathe as you lower the band. So that's the end of round 1. We'll move on to round 2, in which the exercises will be a plank, moving the band side to side, banded lunges, banded upright row, banded overhead pull, and finally, to finish things off, banded toe touches. And remember, we're doing each round twice. So I'll give you the remainder 30 seconds to relax, and we'll get going with round 2. Right, we're back with the plank with band move. So remember here, we're going to get on a plank on our arms upright, not on our elbows. Starting 3, 2, 1. And let's go. So remember, we're trying to keep our back straight, our core engaged. And while we're up, we're just going to put the band on either side of our hands. And what we're going to do is reach across. So if the band's on the left, we reach across with our right hand and pull it to the opposite side and vice versa. Remember here, we're doing a 10. So going from left to right will be 1. So we do that for 10. Remember, keep that core engaged, keep that balance. You want to make it harder. Keep your toes closer together, and you'll be all good. Just remember here, guys, keep that back straight as we are moving and keep going left to right. Brilliant. From there, we'll go to our banded lunges. Here, we'll loop the bands together, put our one foot down. Our front foot will be holding onto the bands with us holding on each side. So let's go. As you can see, you'll step on the band, Try and keep it to the midsection of your shoes. And what you want to do is now, using both hands on each side, you want to lunge down, keeping that tension constant. And remember to hover your knee above the ground here. We're doing 10 on each side. Remember, as you can see, your knee should not go past your toes in this instance. If your knees are going past your toes, just adjust your feeting slightly. Remember to swap sides here. Again, keep your chest up, back straight as you're doing, remembering to hover your knee above the ground. Just coming to the end here, and we'll move on to banded upright rows. So here, remember, we're going to use the whole band in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So yeah, holding on to the band, try and keep legs about shoulder width apart, and we're just going to grab the band and lift it as close as we can to our chin, getting that kind of parallel with our elbows coming out just in line with our shoulders, keeping that back straight, core engaged, and looking ahead of ourselves. We'll move to the banded overhead pull. So similar, we're going to hold on to the band on each side. You want to make it harder, just hold the band closer into the midsection. And what we're going to do, raise the band over our head and simply pull down, and you'll feel that contraction on the upper parts of your back. Remember, chest out, core engaged, and just pull out. And we'll do that for 10. And to finish things off, for our first section of the second round, we're going to do some banded toe touches. And we'll start now. So with the band looped over, we're just going to put it over, again, the midsection of our foot. And holding on each side, we're going to raise our upper back just off the ground. And pulling towards kind of our kneecaps, we're just going to go side to side, keeping that contraction quite tight in our core. We're just going to do that for 10. So remember, going left and right will be 1, and we'll do that for 10. Right, brilliant. I'll give you another minute's rest, and this is our last round. So we'll do this second round one more time, and we'll call time on the exercises. Remember, it's a plank with band move, banded lunges, banded upright row, banded overhead pull, and finally those banded toe touches. I'll give you the rest of the 30 odd seconds to just regain yourself, grab some water, wipe off some sweat, and we'll get back to it. Right guys, final round, let's go with the plank with banded move. So remember here guys, put the band to one side and it's the opposite side, and you're going to reach over and grab it, keeping that back nice and straight. Try to keep your balance here, so really focus on your breathing, taking deep breaths in and then breathing out. Try breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth to get that real effective oxygen flow. And remember, it's 10 reps. Going from one side and going back to the other would be 1 rep. Well done, guys. 1 down, 4 to go with the banded lunges. Remember, it's 10 on each side, and you want to make sure your knee, your front knee, does not go past your toes. So let's get going. Remember, step back, and you want to make sure that back leg, the knee on your back leg, does not touch the ground. Can be challenging, just try and make it just hover above the ground so that you have more control in your movement as well, rather than just dropping it down into the ground. And guys, remember to swap sides. We're keeping that back nice and straight, core engaged, ensuring we get that maximum squeeze into our legs. Perfect, guys. We're going to go to the banded upright row. I will start that in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go, guys. Remember, using the whole band, stepping into it about shoulder width apart. You want to create more tension, you step further and further apart to reduce the size of the band to get more tension. And remember, you want to bring it so your elbows get to about in line with your shoulders, and your band should come in and around your kind of neck and chin area. Kind of move over to the banded overhead pull. We're going to hold the band on each side. Keep it over our head, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go. Here we're just really focusing on, with the upright row we've just done, just really attacking that back, upper back section, shoulder section of our bodies. Just going to come to an end, and we've got our last exercise, which is the banded toe touches. Remember, we're going to get down on the floor, upper back hovering above the ground, and we'll go in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant, guys. Remember, get it in the midsection. Can be a bit tricky, as you can see, but let's go. Remember, upper back hovering just above the ground, keeping that contraction constant throughout your core. Well done, guys. Remember, left to right is 1 rep. And that is it. Thank you for joining me for Banded Body Conditioning 1. I hope you enjoyed the workout. Please do like, share.